guys, Zach here with our first leg day session of this new mesocycle. We are doing a 5-week mini cut starting today. And before we get too far into the video here, I wanted to share what I'm doing calorie wise. I'll probably post I might throw it in this video, I might do it tomorrow, my chronometer stuff. But anyway, my basal metabolic rate, BMR, which is the amount of calories that my body burns, like if I was not doing anything, if I was like just laying in bed all day or sleeping, my baseline calorie burning is 1,790, and then plus my baseline, which is moderately active because I exercise like 6 days a week, and then my regular daily activities are a lot of movement involved there too. So I got that moderate activity, and then my weight goal, which I put in chronometer, that I want to lose a 1/4 pound per week, which is on the very low side. And that's probably that's how I've done it in the past. And I will continue to do that most likely, just to play it safe, because the last thing you want to do when you start a cut is drop your calories super duper low and then have a bunch of muscle loss because of that, because you're eating less calories, you have less nutrients, and if the protein intake should kind of counterbalance it a little bit, but if you drop your calories enough, your body just has no way of coping with that, and so you're either going to lose muscle from training and then not be able to repair or grow more from what you're damaging, little micro tears in the muscle tissue. So anyway, long story short, take it slow. If you're going to cut, don't drop down like 500 calories right away. Boom. Figure out what your BMR is. Add most fitness apps out there, or diet apps, they have these things built in. So yeah, take it slow on a cut. And then what I'm going to do is maintain this 125 calorie deficit. So I'm eating 2,560 calories a day, which is a lot, actually. Like even today, I was struggling to get all the food in. I've been having to kind of like stuff myself for at least like the better part of a month. I've been having to like damn, I don't want to drink this protein shake, or like I don't want to have to eat all this freaking food right now. But it hasn't been so bad where I'm like taking a long time to eat or anything like that. So it's not that bad. But yes, that's my idea there on the cut. Gonna do 125 calorie deficit, and then I'm weighing myself every morning at the same time. So if you go to the bathroom in the morning or whatever, go to the bathroom, weigh yourself before you eat, before you start bringing in liquids, because that way you're getting a standard measurement each day, and you can actually tell if you're decreasing or not. So that's what we're doing calorie wise. That is the cut. My starting weight today was 183.8 pounds. So we'll see. I imagine this first week I'll probably lose like 5 pounds the first week. That usually happens just because of triglyceride and glycogen stores being used up during the training sessions, and then they may not get totally refilled throughout the day, since I am technically hypocaloric. But these things change a little bit here and there depending on how much I move throughout the day. So we'll see. I'll monitor the weight and we'll see how it goes. That's kind of how I recommend to folks to start a fat loss diet, is do it in that gentle way, make sure you're measuring correctly, and then the other thing too is if you cheat, if you have if you eat a bunch one night, or you get crazy and eat a whole pizza by yourself or something like that, don't freak out. You can weigh yourself the next day, but you probably gained like 5 pounds or plus. But the thing is, you didn't gain 5 pounds of fat. You gave 5 pounds of water, or maybe you gained like 0.02 pounds of fat or something like that. Because fat does kind of seamlessly just go into the adipose cells. It's a pretty easy transition, but yeah, don't freak out. Just get back on track. All right, now let's talk about these exercises, because this is the first real session, aside from those deload sessions that I did. So that first exercise you saw, those barbell deficit sumo deadlifts, that is what the title of this video and the thumbnail are about. Those things, if you've ever introduced an exercise that you're not used to doing, sometimes you will get sore in places where you're like, I didn't even know that there were like muscles that you could work in that area. Now, of course, like all the skeletal muscles, you can find some way to stimulate hypertrophy in them. I'm pretty sure you can do it to all of them. I don't know. Some of them are probably resistant, but yeah, my hips and my glutes on that, ooh, crazy. I haven't had a glute pump like that. I mean, the straight leg deadlifts blow my hamstrings up for sure, but these guys, those deficit deadlifts, especially, one of the things I definitely wanted to talk about is, because I even wrote it down here on my logbook, that I'm not focused on load necessarily. I mean, it's important you need to pick the right load so that you have the right rep range for whatever you're trying to do, or whatever rep range you desire. I'm focusing on tension in the target muscle. So, like on those deadlifts, you think about someone, a 31-year-old man deadlifting 115 pounds, it's like, oh my God, that guy must be like super duper weak. I mean, I'm not super duper strong, but I'm also not super duper weak. I pick that load because when I was doing my deload, I found that after about half the reps I would do during a working set, I was feeling it at that weight. So that works. And I like it. I like to be able to use lighter loads because that means your ability to progress. I just have so much in front of me that I can progress towards starting at a light load like that. And so I'm really trying to, on pretty much every exercise, really hone the technique so that I can figure out how to best perform the exercise in a way that's going to stimulate hypertrophy in the target muscle. So on those deficit deadlifts, the way that I'm moving through the exercise is always constantly thinking about, okay, I want my glutes and my hamstrings to stretch going down, and then to pull, or I guess it feels like a push, but I don't know all the biomechanics of it, but feeling that tension press up to the top when I stand up with the bar, that's what I'm looking for. I want to feel it in the target muscle. Am I feeling tension where I should be in the target muscle? A pump. And then, of course, I talked about perturbation, and then, of course, delayed onset muscle soreness. And I definitely got all of those things in the glutes and hams and the hips. And that's the thing that I noticed. I've definitely got weak hips, 100%. And it makes sense. I've mentioned on this channel before that I had a pretty significant injury on my right hip. It may be the culprit on my little wonky bar tilting when I do these high bar back squats, but I would imagine that injury plus the recovery of it has to do with the weakness. But to me, that's a good thing. I'm happy. If I can find my weaknesses, then I can work on them and make them at least comparable, if not stronger, than other body parts. So, and you can see my freaking quads are like blown up. I'll probably do my physique update some point this week. I don't want to get too far into a cut and do it. I want you guys to see how the physique is looking at this point at 183, maybe like 16% body fat, somewhere around there. I don't know. I'd like to get a DEXA to figure out, but just haven't gotten around to it yet. So reverse Nordics, not much to say there. Those guys feel as good as ever. Now, high bar back squat here. I will say the Nordics felt really nice after those sumo deadlifts. It was like a nice change of pace, because the sumo deadlifts, it's like my hips are trying to like rip off my body. Then the reverse Nordics, these were horrible. These sets here, this one set felt terrible. So I'm going to be switching these to, you guys will see it in, you will have already seen it in the leg day intro that I made based on this new mesocycle. I'm going to make custom intros for all my mesocycles so you guys people can see the movements right away, what I'm doing, and then I'll get into the details after that. But yeah, I guess just having that crazy like hip, hamstring, and glute pump, and then pumping my quads up more, and then trying to do weighted barbell squats, it just felt horrible. I felt my quads a little bit, but then the hips were creaky and painful. I didn't like it at all. I'm going to drop high bar back squat, guys. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get rid of high bar back squat, and instead of doing that for a finisher to get extra stimulus, because I could do those two exercises, but then I would have to hike the volume up a little bit, and since my hips are a little weak, I don't want to do that many deficit deadlifts. I just don't want to risk snapping or re-injuring anything. So what I'm going to do is, after the reverse Nordics, I'll go ahead and do, my driveway has like a super steep incline, and so it's great for squatting on. It elevates the heels and it lets you get deeper into a squat, because most people, their issue with not being able to get deep in a squat is usually ankle mobility, and that's the case for me too. So if you take that out of the equation by bringing your heels up, that's why I wear those lifting shoes too. Just on normal squats, even on a flat ground, they lift me up to a few degrees, like 10 degrees or so. But having those lifting shoes plus the gradient of my driveway, I can sink down and like almost touch my butt to my heels. So it's great. So that's what I'm going to do instead of the barbell back squats there. And we'll see how I feel tomorrow. I didn't put any markers of hypertrophy stimulus because it's day one. My legs are definitely fried. I can tell for sure there's perturbation in the quads, hamstrings, and glutes. It's my whole lower body is cooked basically. But yeah, now you guys are seeing the PM session here. This was about 7 hours after that first session, and then the only real thing of note here is that I am heavily focusing on controlling on the way down, setting into that stretch at the bottom, and then pressing back up. So I'm going to try to be really strict about it. That way my reps have varied in the past with these, and I wasn't really digging that because I want to be able to overload them. So that's what we got, guys. Yeah, it's looking like it's probably going to be a pretty good mesocycle. I'm hyped to be hypocaloric. Nice. And I will see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow for our push day. So see you guys later. Hope you have a good one.